Good afternoon, class. My name is Deputy Sesack. You already know me as your school resource officer here at the Freshman Learning Center, the 9th grade campus. We also have Deputy Shannon Dean over at the main campus. The important thing to know is that I'm your school resource officer, and what that means. That means, one, I'm here to counsel and educate you, and two, hopefully not be a cop. Okay? I only have to be a cop when you make me be a cop. So if you need to talk to me, our doors are open. Today we're going to go over some material to help make sure you're familiar with the laws in the state of Florida and here on these campuses. We've had some events that have occurred on this campus, particularly students bringing guns to campus. I want to make sure you're aware of what took place, how to prevent that from taking place, and that you're safe on your campus. You already took the pre-test. We're going to run through some PowerPoint slides to make sure you understand the laws, and then we'll do a quick post-test to make sure you actually learned something, and then open up for Q&A. Okay? Hopefully I'm not going to kill you with PowerPoint, and I don't have to read this word for word for you. But understanding of the law to avert them from unlawful behavior, right? So if I'm talking to you in the hallways of this campus or anywhere else, one, we're either having casual conversation, or two, I see you getting ready to do something that maybe you shouldn't do, so I want to have a conversation with you to keep you out of trouble. As far as crimes in the state of Florida, there's two basic types, misdemeanors and felonies. Does anybody know what the difference is? What you think it is?
Well, I gotta see it.
You were saying, yeah. Okay. Both of them are crimes. The difference is, if you commit a misdemeanor, you're going to jail for a year or less. If you commit a felony, which is a more serious crime, it's a year or longer. If you commit a felony, you're going to end up at a state penitentiary. Our jail here in Indian River County handles misdemeanors. It does hold inmates that are awaiting trial for felonies. If they're found guilty of a felony, they get shipped to the state penitentiary. What that means, if you heard somebody say, oh yeah, I've been to jail, they've been to our county jail. Currently 500 inmates in our county jail. If you hear somebody say they've been to prison, they've committed a more serious crime and they've gone to the state penitentiary. We just went over that. Misdemeanors, less serious, up to 1 year in the county jail, petty theft, simple battery assault, cyberbullying, stalking, criminal mischief. Felonies. Understand, we went over that from 1 year up to life in prison. How does this affect you? Juveniles can be charged as an adult based on the crime. Grand theft and possession of drugs. Okay? Grand theft is not just grand theft auto. It's a cell phone worth $300 or more is considered grand theft. Okay? Anything worth over $300. Crimes against people. Can you all see that okay? Assault and battery. You've probably heard those words before. Assault is a verbal threat. The person has to have the ability to act on that verbal threat for it to be considered an assault. A battery is if they actually touch you. Aggravated assault is if they introduce a weapon. Understand that battery can be as simple as throwing your food on somebody. We've arrested people in this county for pouring water on coffee or coffee on someone else. It's called domestic violence. Not saying I want to do that or we should do that, but sometimes we have to separate parties so it doesn't get escalated. Two people on our campus decide they're going to throw down. They drop their book bag, start yelling obscenities. They're bowing up, going at it. We and the staff try to intervene to keep them from getting in trouble and separate them. They turn around, boom, hit one of our employees. Assault or battery on a school employee. Okay, click, click, go to jail. Here's what a lot of you don't know about. Disruption of a school function, first-degree misdemeanor. That applies here in the classroom. Mrs. Stonecipher is trying to conduct her lesson. One of you is acting up. She's got to tell you to turn off your headphones, to be quiet, listen up, turn to this page, and you're refusing to do so. She calls for an assistant principal. Assistant principal comes down. Young man, little Johnny, let's go. You dig in your heels. You give us the finger. I ain't going nowhere. This is truly a disruption of the classroom function. Assistant principal comes down. She can't get you to move from your chair. It's on the radio. Deputy Sesack, please come to room 412. I come to room 412. Little Johnny, come on. He gives me the finger. He's ready to roll, right? He's digging in. He wants to fight. Mrs. Stonecipher, it is now time for you to exit your class and take them to the library. So little Johnny and I can be here by ourselves. Okay? Usually at this time, the whole class gets up. Sometimes little Johnny decides to get in line. If he does, he's staying in here with me. Usually it doesn't happen. Usually they dig in their heels and stay. I don't want to fight you or anybody else. I'm going to try to verbally de-escalate it with verbal judo. Reason with you, try and talk you out of all the reasons why you don't want to do what you're doing. If you refuse to comply, this no longer becomes school disciplinary action. This becomes a law enforcement action. Click, click, we're going at it, okay? So keep that in mind. That's in our back pocket. Don't make us use it. Disorderly conduct, basically the same thing, but it can apply to you out on the street. Property crimes. Be careful egging cars, toilet papering houses. It's getting more and more expensive to get cars repainted. Used to be a misdemeanor. Now if it reaches over a dollar amount, it's now a felony. You heard me say earlier, grand theft, $300 or more. This is important. Someone steals a cell phone. Yo, man, hold on to this for me. Okay? I'm pretending it's a cell phone. You say, no, man, I don't want it. Oh, yeah? Just hold on to it. Let me put it in the backpack. You roll with that cell phone in your backpack. Things unfold. The guy that gave it to you to hold it, it's an iPhone worth over $300. He's going to get jammed up with a felony. When I say, all right, where's the phone? And it's in your backpack, you are now an accessory. Okay? It's important not to get caught in that situation. And there are ways that you can come to me and other people so you don't get caught in that situation. Fake IDs, fortunately, I don't think you all are worried about this one too much at this age. It becomes more of an issue at the college level. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't use your older brothers or sisters or friends' ID to get something you're not supposed to have. Don't try and alter your ID. And if you're just in possession of one, third-degree felony up to 5 years imprisonment. You see these little second degree, third degree, first degree, that's just the seriousness of the offense. First degree is more serious than a third degree. How old do you got to be to buy alcohol?
21.
Very good. If you get someone else to buy alcohol for you, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, they get jammed up for that. People that are driving around drunk, under the influence behind the wheel of a car, 0.08 blood alcohol content. If you're under 21, it's only 0.02. Basically, your size and age, one beer. We all know this, right? Nobody's got tobacco on these school grounds, right? Nobody's chewing tobacco. Nobody's chewing Skoal, Copenhagen. If you get caught with that on the school grounds, the school has their discipline. and we can give you tickets for it. Marijuana. So if you just get caught with a little bit, it's a misdemeanor. Caught with a big giant Ziploc bag full, it's a felony. Here's what a lot of people don't know, and I usually don't share this with people, but I want to make sure you know it so you're comfortable coming to me or anyone else about this. It is not illegal in the state of Florida to smoke marijuana. Okay? Let me define that, because a lot of people think that these states are legalizing it elsewhere, that it's okay to smoke marijuana. There are no laws on the books that you can't smoke marijuana. However, if you come to school or a school function high or drunk, you don't get to stay here. But if you come to me, yo, Sesack, I just hit a blunt. Okay, that's nice. I'm going to have a talk with you. It's not illegal to smoke marijuana. It's illegal to get caught with it. Okay? So if you are smoking weed, which I know you're not, but if you find yourself needing to smoke weed more than a weekly, daily basis, you may have a problem, and I can help you with that. Okay? For the most part, we don't see too much of this on the streets anymore. It used to be sold in the convenience stores, K2, Spice. Important thing to know, just a little baggie of it is a felony. Okay, the reason why this is so critical, because this stuff is synthetically made, just like the mollies, the flockas that you may have heard. The chemical makeup is all over the board, and it will kill you. Okay? I've put too many young people in the back of an ambulance on an overdose, because the chemical makeup of this is just, they just keep changing it. We make an ingredient illegal, so they change it to the next chemical, whatever the chemist can get their hands on. It will mess you up. Most of the overdoses that occur in the state of Florida and this county are people from the age of 45 to 55. Me, that get hooked up on these prescription pills. However, just about every house in this county has a medicine cabinet. Your parents may have had surgery or had something, and they've got some type of pain pill in it. Please don't come to school because you got a migraine with grandma's Vicodin or Percocet in your pocket. Because if you're in possession of it without a prescription, you're committing a crime. On top of the fact this stuff is highly addictive and filled with heroin and opiates, and you don't really need to get started with that. House parties. Does everybody know what this is? Somebody's parents is out of town, they got a house, open house party, right? Sometimes we used to have these pill parties, the bowls filled with all kinds of different pills that people put in them. Hopefully we're not seeing that too much anymore, mainly weed and alcohol. Usually what happens, a neighbor calls in a noise complaint, the cops show up, a bunch of people underage smoking weed and drinking, somebody's going to be held accountable. Here on school campuses, we call it Social Media Monday. All the drama that happens on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, over the weekends flares up when everybody comes back to school on Monday morning. And there's usually a fight. Please understand, this is now a crime. I'm going to take a moment and read this to you. This is important. A minor commits the offense of sexting if he or she knowingly uses a computer or any other device capable of electronic data transmission or distribution to transmit or distribute to another minor any photograph or video of any person which depicts nudity and is harmful to minors. Minor to minor, that's you. Take a picture of somebody else, yourself, send it to them, somebody you think you love, that's your boyfriend or girlfriend. It's going to get shared, and it's going to be permanent. We deal with it all the time. What happens is it gets shared with somebody, it ends up on social media. Mom and dad's call this, there's a picture of my daughter, It's all over the place. We pull in the ex-boyfriend. No, I deleted it. No, it's there forever. So, at this time, quickly, actually you can take your time, I'm going to pass out the same test. Now, in those booklets I gave you, there are a few things that we did not go over, specifically sexual crimes. Okay? It goes into more detail. The important thing to know, at what age in Florida can you consent to sexual activity? If you're 15, you cannot consent to sexual activity with anybody. Okay? And it doesn't mean when you turn to 16 you can start doing whatever, because there's laws for that too. While you're completing this post-test, the incidents we had on this campus, specifically guns being brought to our campus, information was provided to us about these weapons and why they were being brought. I will tell you that I consider these people unsung heroes, because they potentially saved some lives that day, and they're not going to get any credit for it. Because I got one right here. People get afraid to talk to the cops out of fear of retaliation or being a snitch. Some people consider cops or firemen or other type of emergency people heroes. I am grateful that these people came forward to let us know what was going on. Their identities are sealed forever. I want you to be comfortable knowing that, because I've seen what happens to people that don't come forward with that information. I went to school here. I was a student here. This was the junior high, 8th and 9th grade. We only had one. Then I went over to the main campus, played football over there. From 8th grade to 12th grade, I buried 6 of my classmates. Did I have information that could have prevented their deaths? No. Did other people? Yes. And those other people are living miserable lives right now because of the guilt and trauma that they've been through because they didn't do anything to stop it. So keep that in mind, because if you know something's about to go down, but you're afraid to tell us, we can help you get that information to us and keep you from going to funerals. Okay? So we know, if you see one of these, you know what this is. Ammunition, a bullet, shell casing. If you see one of these, a magazine, a clip. If you see one of these, and that's the most I'm taking it out, you don't touch it, because it's potentially a murder weapon and your fingerprints don't need to be on it, and it's probably stolen. You come and get somebody right away, okay? If there's 2 of you, it might even be better one of you stood there, have the other one go. Better yet, call me on your cell phone. I don't care where it's at, what you're doing. My number is 911. Does anybody have any questions about those incidents or anything else that you can or cannot do on a campus? It's okay if you do. So let's complete this test, and then we'll be done. Mrs. Stonecipher, do you have any questions? Is everybody done with the questions? Done with the test, the post-test? Go ahead and pass it forward. Mr. Smith, do you have any questions? Either one of you. It's okay if you don't. Understand this. People have asked me in the past if we can search lockers, search clothes, search backpacks. As a law enforcement officer, I need probable cause, thank you. However, once you set foot on this campus, the school administration is now acting on behalf of your parents. Your parents aren't here. They're in charge of your safety. They do not need probable cause to search your belongings. They only need a mere suspicion. Something else that would be helpful to you to know, a lot of people think if you get in trouble for a crime, because you're a juvenile, that gets erased when you're 18. Maybe if you threw a plate of spaghetti on your classmate in 6th grade and that's all you did, and you don't have any other criminal record or history, and you behave yourself from there on, it'll probably go away. But the military recruiters, the college recruiters, the big CEOs, they know how to dig deep. It stays with you pretty much forever. So it's a good decision to make good decisions now. Yes, sir.
What is the difference between assault and battery?
Assault is if I verbally threaten you. All right? We're fixing to roll. I'm taking you down. Do I have the ability to do it? Am I bowing up? And I start bumping into you, chest bumping, but I don't actually complete? That's just an assault. Assault is a verbal threat. Battery, can I touch you for a second? Even just touching him against his will can be considered a battery. If you tell someone, don't touch me, and they touch you, that's simple battery. Something else also to know, if you go to somebody's house, business, or property, and they tell you to leave, and you don't, that's trespassing. There doesn't have to be a piece of paper sign. You go knock on somebody's door, I don't want to buy any, you need to leave. But sir, they pick up phone, call 911, that's trespassing. Any other questions?
What if it's like a relative?
A relative is coming to your house and won't leave,
Like you go to their house?
and they don't want you there?
Yeah.
Do you live there? If you don't live there, even if it's a relative, and they tell you to leave, and you keep coming back, even if it's your own parent, say your parents live somewhere and you live with auntie because she's your legal guardian. You go over to mommy's house or grandma's house and grandma says, no, you can't be here, and you come back, she can call, pick up the phone, call the cops, have you trespassed. Hopefully that's not happening, that we're all welcome at our relative's house, but some of the most stressful things in our lives are our families.